how you doing? I am here today with a new video called Back to BF3. Now, this video, as you might have guessed, is going to be about the differences between Battlefield 3 and Battlefield 4. So, I bought Battlefield 3 for PC the other week. Now, you might think that, well, you've not played it that much, so how can you make this review? I actually played Battlefield 3 on the PlayStation for a year, when it first came out, and then I played it on Xbox for a year afterwards, and now I'm playing it on the PC. So I've been playing it for 2 years, so I've got a good idea of what it's like on every platform. My first impressions of playing Battlefield 3 on the PC were that you feel a lot lighter. You feel more manoeuvrable in Battlefield 3 than you do in Battlefield 4. Battlefield 4, you seem really heavy, and it's a struggle to move, and that I don't like. It's like running through mud. It's not. You don't feel like you're in control. But in Battlefield 3, you feel very manoeuvrable, and that you can do everything that you need to. Things that I prefer in Battlefield 3 to Battlefield 4 is the reviving system. I think that it's a lot better than the reviving system in Battlefield 4. Where in Battlefield 3 you revive them and you get 100 points and they come back with, I think it's about 20% health, whereas in Battlefield 3 the longer you charge up your defibrillator, the more points you get and the more health the character will get when you revive them. I think the Battlefield 3 system is a lot better just because you get a guaranteed set of points and the player gets a guaranteed set of health when he comes back. And I mean, in real life, when you charge up a defibrillator, the longer you charge it doesn't make any difference to the amount of health that you're gonna have when you wake up again. It doesn't make sense. So I prefer the Battlefield 3 reviving system much more than Battlefield 4's. I also prefer the maps of Battlefield 3 to Battlefield 4. I think that there's a much wider variety of maps, as you've got close quarters like Operation Metro, Sane Crossing, and Grand Bazaar, and then you've got the massive open expanses of things like Operation Firestorm, Tehran Highways, a good mixture of close quarters and open combat, and all the maps cater very well to every game mode, I think. Everything works well with Rush, everything works well with Conquest, Team Deathmatch, everything. I just think everything works together with all the maps, and that can't be said in Battlefield 4, where you've got Operation Locker works well on Domination, but not very well in Conquest, where you get the massive choke points and it's just a grenade fest. Same goes with Siege of Shanghai. Siege of Shanghai is absolutely fantastic for Conquest, I think, and Domination is okay, but whoever owns the middle point on that map just dominates. There is literally, it's very hard to regain that point and regain control of the rest of the map, because once you control that central building, you have a big advantage over everybody because you can see them. If you get up on top of that roof, you can see them. You can see all the way around the building, and inside the building as well, because the whole roof is glass, so you can basically dominate the whole map once you have that one checkpoint. One thing I will say that I prefer in Battlefield 4 is the graphics. The graphics have been enhanced massively since Battlefield 3. Battlefield 3 was still fantastic for their time. This game came out in 2011 and the graphics were absolutely amazing. And they still look really nice. But Battlefield 4's the lighting engine, the textures, and the detailing on the weapons seem a lot more enhanced. They seem a lot more developed in this game. Obviously, something that is better in Battlefield 3 are the servers, the connection, and I'll say netcode with a sort of caution there. In Battlefield 3, if you're running towards cover and you're getting shot at from behind, you have time to react. You can either duck into cover, or you can turn around and try and get a couple of bullets in them. You have time to react. Whereas in Battlefield 4, you take 3 bullets in quick succession and you die. There is literally no way that you can, unless the person who's shooting at you has got terrible accuracy, there's no way that you can turn around and have a comeback. You can see this in some of the clips that I'm showing you back here. I'm just running along like an open area, not where there's no cover. I'll get shot at from a fair bit away, and I'll just die in the space of about 1, maybe 2 seconds. Whereas in Battlefield 3, you've got at least 3, maybe even 4 seconds up to sometimes, where you can turn around, you can react, you can either try and get a couple of bullets into somebody where you might then get an assist, or you've got time to duck into cover where you can then work out where you're going to go from there. Whilst I've been playing Battlefield 3 and Battlefield 4, I've found Battlefield 3 to be much more enjoyable playing. Whilst I've been playing Battlefield 4, I've found it to be more of a chore, more of a challenge to play. Whereas Battlefield 3, I can just jump on, and I'll have so much fun playing in the space of 20 minutes to half an hour. Especially on maps like Damavan Peak, on Rush. I've really missed that, whilst I've not been playing on Xbox. And other maps. I've especially missed Rush since playing Battlefield 4, because Rush on Battlefield 4 does not work. There aren't very many maps that cater to it very well. Flood Zone, maybe, once you get past the first couple of checkpoints, maybe that is okay, but there aren't really very many maps that can cater to Rush in Battlefield 4, which is a shame, because I think Rush was one of the most iconic game modes of the Battlefield series. It was a combination of open warfare with close quarters and working together as a team. You had to have great team cooperation to actually win a match, which is something that I really missed in Battlefield 4. On Battlefield 3, you've got Damavan Peak, even Karg Island, Grand Bazaar, that's a good one. Operation Metro is a fantastic one. And even though we've had Operation Metro in Battlefield 4, the addition of the new grenades in Battlefield 4 sort of subtracts from the experience of the old Operation Metro, as it's just a screen shake and it's just a grenade fest. You can't do anything because of the amount of screen shake you've got on your screen. Also, in Battlefield 3, I much prefer the flying of the jet camera. Like, it's the camera on Battlefield 4 is when you go into third person, the camera is fixed to the back of your plane. Well, so when you turn, the camera turns, and if you turn upside down, the whole screen's upside down. The land is on the top of the screen. Whereas on Battlefield 3, if you're in third person, you turn, the jet turns, and the camera stays the right way up. When you turn, the camera stays the same. So no matter which way you tilt your plane, the camera is always going to stay the right way up. And that is a massive help for when you come in for one flyover, you then come out, and it's a massive help for when you go into third person and come around for another fly-in. It's a massive help, because if the camera is fixed to the back of your plane, it's really hard to see what's around you, especially when you've got something on your tail, or there's something off to your left or off to your right. If the camera's fixed to your plane and you're trying to avoid them, you avoid them and then you can't see where they are. You're completely blind unless you've got a radar. So what would be my perfect battlefield? I think my perfect battlefield would be a lot of Battlefield 3 put into a new game with the same maps, maybe a couple of new additions, but based on the same style of Battlefield 3, with Battlefield 4's graphics. I think that would be an absolutely fantastic game. It would get a lot of people playing it. Also, much better servers, the netcode tidied up, and also not rushed out of development. DICE themselves, when Battlefield 4 was released, DICE themselves said that they believed that Battlefield 4 needed another 6 months of development before release, but EA rushed it out so it could compete with Call of Duty. This is a terrible, terrible mistake that EA made, and I just think that when a game should be released, it should be released when it's ready. It doesn't matter whether it's got a release date. You can move back that release date. It's like Watch Dogs. Watch Dogs was meant to be a launch title for the Xbox One and PS4, but then it was pushed back into late May because it wasn't ready for release, which is fantastic. I think more developers should start doing this. If the game's not ready for release, don't release it. Release it when it's ready. When it's ready, then more people will play it when it's ready, because you get a much better experience playing it. I know that I've talked a lot about Battlefield 3 in this. I've favoured Battlefield 3 a lot in this video, but that's just because I heavily believe that Battlefield 3 is the best out of the two Battlefields here. Battlefield 3 was the game that brought me into the Battlefield series. I first heard about Battlefield when back in 2011, around Christmas time, that Battlefield actually existed, and it was the first game. It was the first first-person shooter game that I ever had. It was the game that brought me from playing old Mario and Sonic. It was the game that brought me into playing Battlefield and Call of Duty and Batman and stuff like that. So Battlefield 3 was a big part of my gaming history, and that's why I love it so much. But I heavily believe that Battlefield 3 is the best out of Battlefield 3 and Battlefield 4. However, as everybody knows, there is only one game that can top every game on the market. Lego Hobbit.
I know these walls.
May the heart of the mountain unite all dwarves.
The Arkenstone.
What's that?
That,
Master Burglar, is why you are here.
Embrace for impact, fight your fears.